everyone watching the Plain Talks. I'm Bronwyn Swinton.
And I'm Nikita Orenso.
And today on the couch we have Mr. Ashwin Johnson. Welcome, so how are you today?
I'm well, yourself?
We're fantastic because you're here today.
Awesome.
So before we start with all the questions, we're going to start with the childhood. So tell us, what was it like growing up in Mitchell's Plain?
Okay, growing up in Mitchell's Plain was very challenging. I was reared by a single mother who worked singly for me, and it was extremely challenging. I attended the former Walter Freedom Primary School, that is now currently the Mitchell's Plain School of Skills. I was a very rebellious child because of me not having a father that was present in my life. I would do things on school. They would call in my mother, and she just wouldn't fend for me. So I grew up fending for myself, and with this fending for myself, whoever said or whoever done, I defended myself against that. And that is what people highlighted as rebellion. I didn't stick to rules. I've always moved outside of rules, and yeah, so life was challenging. There was a time that I thought I'm not going to make it in Mitchell's Plain, but time had a good story to tell.
So, like, how was it like growing up with a single mother? Because a lot of people have, like, look, I have a father and a mother, and you go in class and then they talk about, oh, no, my daddy's gonna do this for me, da, 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 da. Especially with, like, technology projects and stuff. So how was it like growing up with a single mother?
In all honesty, my mother wasn't a very supportive mother. If I come home with projects, I had to do it all by myself. Growing up without a father was extremely challenging. I didn't have anybody to show me how a screw must be put in. I didn't have anybody to show me how a drill works, right? But I had someone to show me what it is to wash up, what it is to wash your own clothing, what it is to iron for yourself. That was the benefit of growing up with a single mother. Then when my friends at school, my peers were speaking about their fathers, I could never join in on the conversation. But to an extent, I never felt bad about that, because where he was at the present time, he still made contact. And I always looked forward to that. So it was like he was present, but he also wasn't present.
So, like, tell me, now that we speak about present like fathers and mothers and things, how important do you think it is for, like, not just yourself, but like everybody else to have that connection with their parents?
It is of vital importance. I believe that a child should grow up with both his or her parents. If there is circumstances where the child cannot grow up with both parents, the advice that I would give to single parents is that at least have a good relationship with each other for the sake of your child.
And didn't you have any siblings?
From my father's side, I've got siblings. I've got an elder sister, and then I've got a younger brother and a set of twins.
And how did that relationship affect you?
To be honest, my father was absent for a long time out of my life. I never knew that I had siblings until the day that he was released from prison, and then each Sunday they would come and knock on my grandmother's door. This is your child, Mr. Adams. This is your child, Mr. Adams. Wow. So yeah, now I got to know my siblings, and we've got a good relationship going.
Wow, that's amazing. So how was it like just like out of the blue, I have a brother? What? How did that, like, how was your reaction to it?
Because I'm a family-orientated person, to me it was exciting. I'm not alone. Yeah, I actually have someone that I can go to. I can my sister Titirup van ses ouras my, and I've got a younger brother, but for my would say Putta. So it was good. The feeling was good.
Yes. So you were talking about before this, you said you were like a rebellious child. How did this affect you?
How did this affect me? There was, in Mitchell's Plain, like, we've got a lot of gangsterism happening. There was a time that my mother felt, I can't deal with this child anymore. This child needs to be placed into some other care. This child needs to be placed either in a facility or that. She then made contact with one of my father's sisters who tried to give her the advice of placing me in a facility. She got the numbers and everything. She knew which social worker to contact and that to place me into a child center. That was something that I didn't want. I'd never wanted to be away from my mother, because the message that she always gave to me was, we are alone. So I felt the need to protect her, and in return, she needed to protect me. But her being an introvert, right, and not defending me when it was necessary for her to defend me. I felt the need of protecting her.
Yes. So like, how did this affect you? Like, after she wanted you to like move away. Yes, you said that you wanted to like. She said that you wanted to protect you. Like you wanted to protect your mother. So how did it feel for you to move away from your mother and things?
Okay, then she asked some family members for assistance, and then she sent me. They agreed, and then I went to stay with my aunt and my uncle in Lente here. So here it is, the family home that I'm growing up in, and that it benefited me so much more. They took my entire responsibility, her entire responsibility. They took. They sent me to school. They paid my school fees. I finished my matric. I grew up in their home where where they had 3 children and grandchildren, and their children were like my siblings. We called each other brother and sister in the house, you know. So I had a taste of what it was to have a single mother with no siblings, and what it was to live in a family setup.
Yes.
Okay. So being away from your mother, wasn't there that time where you felt like I have to change now in order to make things better for myself and my mother?
Definitely there was that feeling. At a very young age, I decided to surrender to God, right? I think it was at the age of 13. At this time, what I did was I never mixed with young people my age. I always sat amongst the elders because I believe that is where the wisdom and the knowledge was shared. And that is where I learned a lot of things. That is why today even a lot of young people say, this is an old soul. But that's fine. I know what I've learned. I know the benefit of sitting around with the elders and that. So yeah, the positive influence comes from that.
Wow. Yo, Bronwyn, I'm enjoying this conversation.
It's very interesting. So when you were the older people than you, how did it feel like being the youngest around them? Did you feel like, oh no, I don't belong here, or did you feel like they're there to support you?
I felt that they were there to support me because at the time during my schooling I didn't have a lot of friends. My life was going to the religious building, attending youth, and that was my friends. The youth people, they were my friends, so it would only be on a Friday or during the week that I would see them. But furthermore, it was just school, and I was at home. So being amongst the eldest was a good thing. They visited more and they shared a lot more.
We're just going for a quick break, but we'll be back. Guys, we're not leaving Mr. Johnson. You stay on that seat.
Hi guys, I'm Nikita Audenser.
I'm Bronwyn Swinton.
And you are watching the Playing Talks. Today on the couch we have Ashwin Johnson. So you were still telling us about how you changed and stuff. So how did that change mature you into the person that you are today?
There was a lot of changes that I needed to make in my life. I needed to make a lot of decisions. There was choices that I needed to make, and I made them. And today I'm grateful that I made them because it shaped me and it molded me into the person that I am today. There was friendships that I needed to sacrifice. There was my own selfish nature, things that I needed to sacrifice, and I did so. And that is what molded me and shaped me.
So when you made that change, you had to change the circle of friends that you were around. Why was that difficult to do?
It was difficult to do because as a young man, yes, you like to sit at the feet of the elders and there you learn a lot, but also you need to socialize with people your age, right? But now socializing with people your age and you growing up in this circle of people that is influencing you so positively, here you have to do what the crowd wants you to do.
Yes.
And now you stand between the two, but this is what I learned, but this is what I want to do. So which is going to benefit me more? That choice I needed to make, and deep down I just made that choice, and I trusted that I made the right choice.
Wow. It must have been difficult because a lot of people didn't like people judge you when you were that age, and like at high school especially, when you have friends and things, and they're like, look here, why don't you do this, man? Like, why are you like this kind of person? Why? You know all the whys, and then you just don't know how to answer them. Like, how was it going through high school?
Okay, I've always had a lot of questions, and they've always been questioning me and saying, and their favorite thing which my friends liked to say and still like to say is that you're an old soul, and I say it's fine. One day when you get to the level where I am, you'll understand why I am the way I am.
So there's lots of challenges when you do make changes in your life. What was your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge that I had to make was at in my matric year. Um, I wasn't doing very well personally. And then just before my second last paper, it was on a Thursday morning, I got up and I decided I'm not going to finish my matric exams. And but then while lying down, I went to lie down again. And while laying there, it's just like something said to me, no, you go and you finish because this is what is going to benefit you one day. I got up at a 8:30 and I'm starting exams at 9. And I I went and I went to write my second last paper. When I saw what was in the paper, I said, this is what I studied for. I finished it. It refreshed me. I became much more exciting, much more excited. And then I finished my last paper and here I am. I'm matriculated.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? Like I wish that I'm like I'm almost gonna be that. Like,
Almost there, Nikita,
almost
almost.
there. Matric person, yeah. So like, what did you decide to do after matric?
After matric, I wanted to go into education. I went to universities and that I had some assistance from a friend of mine, Miss Libba, who was currently studying at the time. But going to the universities, my marks was too low to get me access into the university, and they said to me, "You have to go to a college." I then decided to do so, and I went to this college, and went to study child care. But I could only finish my NQF4, which is equivalent to matric, because there was there was no other money to further the studies, and NSFAS wouldn't allow me to get the bursary because my mother was employed, and the salary bracket. We all know what happens with the salary bracket. I then had to drop out of college. I did so, and I started to work. Right, I was sitting at home, and then Love Life called first, and I started to work for that organization. I worked there for a year, and then I went to work for the city of Cape Town after the year as an EPWP worker. I did so. In the year 2014, I started as a remunerated volunteer at the Mitchells Plain School of Skills, which was the former Walter Freedom Primary. So this to me was giving back to my community now, and also now it is working with a mildly intellectually impaired child, a child who struggles to read and write, a child who has behavioral problems. It's a challenge to them, you know. So this to me was like that is what opened up my eyes, and it said to me, this is what I want to do. I want to work with a child that has behavioral challenges.
Wow.
So where did the passion for childcare actually come from?
It came from working at the organization called Love Life.
Wow.
But you said sorry. You said you wanted the NQF level of childcare, right? But that was before the whole Love Life thing. So how did you just go into that?
Yes, in my mother's family, the majority of them are educators. So I just thought, you know what, maybe this is what I need to do. So I wanted to just go into education. I didn't have the desire. I was following the trend of the family.
Yeah.
You understand? So only after that, when I really experienced working with the child, I said, no, this is definitely what I want to do.
Wow.
And what is the daily challenges that you face working in such environment?
The daily challenge is sometimes you see yourself in your child, the way you were, and then you can't understand why this child is like that, you know. But then it's the moment you teach the child something that he don't know, and he or she latches to it and they make it their own and they develop out of that, then you feel refreshed, you feel satisfied because you've achieved something.
So what would you say is your highlight of the day? If you you said that you love what you're doing, right? So what would you say is the most how much it just brings you so much excitement and joy?
What brings me so much excitement and joy is the fact that, you see, working with a special needs child that cannot read and write, and you sit with that child and you teach them the ABCs, the abacus. You teach them how to read and write. And here you come a week later and you find that you got your desired outcomes. That is, I think that is the best feeling ever. Then you feel, I've developed someone. I've brought someone onto a new level.
That's amazing.
I think when you work in a job that actually gives back to the community, it makes it's amazing
It just
feeling.
brings you so much joy because like you don't know what's going on in the other person's house
Yeah.
and stuff, and then like it's almost like you just adding on to that person's joy, because when somebody else feels joy, then I'm also going to feel joy, because when you smile, I want to smile. Guys, stay tuned. We're coming back now. Like now.
Don't you move. And we are back from the break. I'm Bronwyn Swinton.
And I'm Nikita Waditsa.
So, Mr. Johnson, we were speaking about community work, Nikita.
Mm.
So, what other ways do you give back to the community?
Currently, I am employed by the Western Cape Department of Social Development as a child and youth care practitioner, right? So I'm responsible for the developmental program where children is concerned. But I work shifts, so on my off day, I deemed it very important that I do give back to my community by going back to the Mitchell's Plain School of Skills and rendering my service there. So currently, I am in charge of the substance abuse awareness program at the School of Skills, where it's in Mitchell's Plain. You know, substance abuse is everywhere. So what I do is I get a group of learners together and we just raise awareness around that. We do various programs at the school about that, and that message we encourage the learners at the school to go into the communities and relay that message to the community.
So how is that like going? Is it like successful or anything?
Currently, it's running successfully.
How do they do it? Like, do they put up posters, give out small cards, or?
Yes, we do have the posters that the pamphlets that we give up. We don't do any posters yet. And how they do it is at the school, a group of young people that meet every single week, and we speak about the contributing factors to substance abuse. And then we take that and we try and role play it out in the school, so that we try to make it real life with the real life situations, so that they can see that there is what real life situations is there to shape you and to mold you. It's not to send you into any substance abuse.
So like, don't you ever think like, these people, we just want to speak and it's up to them if they want to like change. So like, why do you ever just think like, I'm not going to do this anymore, man? Like, because I see this child, yes, he says he wants to change, but he's not changing. So do you ever just feel like, I'm giving up?
Because of my job, that's not the feeling that I can have. Because I myself was there once upon a time. And it took someone to throw me a lifeline. And I needed to grab that lifeline. And by grabbing that lifeline, that person, I did many things wrong in the time that the person gave me the lifeline. But that person never gave up. So that is what I have to do. I need to throw someone a lifeline and just never give up. I must know and I must be prepared to walk a road and know that this person is going to make mistakes.
So basically, even when things are not going the way you want to go, you might just keep going.
There we go.
Lovely.
That's the spirit, Nikita. Keep going for that matric.
So tell me about like, do you have any other goals that you have for like the future?
For the future, I really want to go and finish my studies in education, because I do feel the need. I do feel that I'm grooming myself and equipping myself to one day be able to run the facility that I'm currently working at.
Wow,
Lovely.
that's amazing. So how long will that take?
The studies would take up to four years to get the relevant degree for the position, and with the department that does sponsoring for those who wish to study, it should go quick.
Yeah.
I got one more question. Were you born in Mitchell's Plain? Were you in Mitchell's Plain all your life?
No, I wasn't born in Mitchell's Plain. I was born in the retreat, and then my mother decided to go and live in Manenberg, and then with the whole gang related things happening in Manenberg, we thought that we were going to move to Mitchell's Plain and that Mitchell's Plain would give us a better life. Well, to an extent, it did give us a better life because we're still here.
Yes. So you actually have a love for Mitchell's Plain, that's what you're trying to say.
Definitely.
I love it.
And how did you growing up in that different areas, how did that affect you as a person?
Okay, Retreat will always be my home ground. That is where my grandparents, they are still residing. And my cousins, a lot of my cousins is there. So I go back there and I also have a lot of friends around there. So I'll always have a love for that place because it's my place of birth. Manenberg, I don't remember a lot about that because at the time that we stayed there, it was very rough. So you couldn't really be outside roaming around, you know. But yeah, Mitchell's Plain, that's my heart.
You were talking about friends. I just heard friends now, and like for me, as a teenager, it's difficult to find like friends. So how would you give any advice to like the teenagers, like in the friend circle?
Okay, to teenagers and their friend circle, I'm going to say this, that you cannot choose your family, but you definitely can choose your friends. And you need to choose your friends on what benefits you. How are you going to grow amongst them?
Yes.
How can you, what can you give and what can you take from your friends? You know, so that you can be shaped and molded at the same time to become strong individuals, to become the individual that you are purposed to be.
I also think it's a very difficult to choose the right friends because most of the time we're so caught up with the wrong friends that our mind we don't have the right mindset to actually change our group of friends.
Because I'm cool now. Man.
Yeah, I'm with the cool group.
Yeah, I'm cool now, but I need to also take cognizance of what is my home values. What was I taught? Because I believe every parent trained their child in the way that they should go, so that one day when they are old, they won't depart from it.
Yes. I'm just thinking, I'm thinking back on the children that are using substance abuse. Like if I was using substance abuse and I'm watching the show, how do I backwards, move away from it?
The first point is admitting that you've got a problem. And once you've admitted that you've got a problem, start to seek help. Speak to a parent, speak to any adult that you are comfortable in sharing information with, and allow that adult to contact they can check in the newspapers that we have, our local newspapers. They can check in our telephone directory. There is rehabilitation centers around, or even speak to your schools. Check where your social development office is within your area, because we've got social workers there's even a social worker at our courts that you can go to and speak to, and that will assist.
So why do you think that people or youngsters actually go and do drugs?
It's to do with influence today. Like Nikita said, I'm cool, so I want to fit in, and that is what our young people do. And the sad thing about this is that they don't realize the reality about this, that once you start to use, it gives you a certain feeling. And once you have that certain feeling, you always want to have that feeling back. So this is what makes you an addict, because you go back into trying to get that feeling. So your dosage increases, and that is what makes you an addict. And they are not aware of that.
Wow.
That's amazing, eh?
Yeah, and it's very sad that people especially youngsters, actually go into drugs and it messes up our lives.
And they don't know how that affects the next person.
Yeah.
So Ashwin, do you have any last words for us?
My message to our viewers out there would be, throw someone a lifeline. If you see someone struggling, we need to get back to helping our neighbor. There's a saying that goes, if each man helps his neighbor, who will need help?
Wow.
So that's my message to our viewers.
Thank
you so much.
He has been amazing on this couch now. Guys, Google the Plain Talks, man, and then follow us on social media. It's the 21st century. We love you guys, and stay tuned.